Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. Today on the show, we've got Kanye's sneaker comeback, but like for reals this time. Nigel Sylvester climbing the Jordan brand ladder. LeBron James taking a trip down memory lane. This week's hottest release. And of course we have our Hard Pass. All right, let's start with some hot takes. Japan's own Kanye West. No, really, that's where he is at the moment. He's been making sneaker news this week. Yeah, that's all we're going to talk about, so sorry to disappoint the stands out there who need to hear our take on his upcoming album, Bully, or the reason why he hasn't been stateside for a while now. So, after posting some not-so-kind words, sans punctuation, to Adidas last week, West followed up with the victory lap, declaring himself the GOAT of GOATs after generating over $2 million in sales in 24 hours for the stealth launch of a new apparel collection that includes a $20 slipper, the SL01. Hey, that's impressive no matter how you look at it. And he says it himself. I don't collab, no paid ads. I am the Yan, Yeezy over everything. If you design and you don't work at Yeezy, close your dirty ass laptop and go to bed. Upon reading that, co-writer realized he did not work at Yeezy and closed his dirty ass laptop for only like 5 minutes before getting back to finishing this bit. But that was only the beginning, as later in the week, Kanye debuted a new sneaker called the BL01. It's basic, it's chunky, it's exactly what the people wanted from 2017 to 2022. But if anybody can kickstart the trend again, it's Kanye. As long as he keeps his ire towards corporations like Adidas and not towards entire swaths of people, religions, sexual orientations, political affiliations, etc., etc. That and the Bully album, it needs to be hot, like Euphoria hot. Maybe even hotter than that. Look, he's never going to regain the status that he had among the general public when he hosted a magical listening party at Madison Square Garden nearly a decade ago, when it really truly was Yeezy over everything. But it's not impossible that he can regain some form and get it back to Yeezy over some things, and maybe even Yeezy over most things. What is going to be interesting is how the BL01 is going to be priced. Let's be honest, it looks like a sneaker that you might find at a fast fashion retailer like Zara or H&M. And that's not meant to be an insult, but it's not meant to be a compliment either. And if they are $20, like all his stands are convinced they will be, their hero is playing 4D chess while everyone is playing 2D solitaire or whatever. You have to be worried about their durability though. I wonder if Steven Smith is in the middle of a Crocs design meeting, laughing his ass off, or worse, feels pity for what's going on. Like, if you were to chart Kanye's entire sneaker timeline from Bapestas to the Louis Vuitton Dons to the Nike Air Yeezys to his run with Adidas to now, you have to wonder what the hell happened. We're not saying we could have designed a better sneaker because that's not our job. But anybody who has ever claimed they designed sneakers on their LinkedIn page could have done the BL01 in a first draft. Of course, the differences between someone who has to design a Team Jordan based on the numbers they drew from a hat and Kanye is, well, Kanye himself. He's not infallible, obviously, but as we've learned from the success of his sock shoe pod thing and the slippers he dropped last week that scored him $2 million, people will buy anything Kanye makes if he prices it low enough. $200 sock pods? Stans would have you believing he was a genius and changing the game and sticking it to Adidas, but in reality, most of us normies were like, hell no. $20 for the same thing? Well, his stands would also have you believe he was a genius in changing the game and sticking it to Adidas. But this time, plenty of people were like, yeah, screw it. It's $20. What's the worst that could happen? Besides losing the respect of, my friends and family who stopped caring about Kanye in 2010. As long as they can verify the Shopify link came from Kanye and priced it reasonably, the BL01 will be bought, it will sell out, and Kanye will gloat about it. Hey, we'll buy a pair and do an unboxing. We are seriously that curious, honestly. And we'll give Kanye credit for one thing. He never did jump on the NFT bandwagon when he was asked about it. Sure, he did file some trademarks that were NFT related a few months after he said he wasn't on that wave, but he never followed through, probably because he saw it for the grift that it was. Of course, we reserve the right to change our stance on this if in a few weeks he requires us to buy a Yeezy coin to listen to Bully or some bullshit like that. Okay, outside of the Kanye vortex, Nigel Sylvester might have an early candidate for sneaker of 2025. Just hold on, listen. During a media reveal this past week, a vibrant orange Air Jordan 4 with the cell midsole was seen by the public for the first time. Dubbed the Brick by Brick, these Jordan 4s will feature some carryover elements from Sylvester's hit Air Jordan 4 RM collab last year, including the mini swoosh on the toe and the Bike Air heel tab. I'll be honest, I need to see them in person to really gauge just how orange or red they are. Multiple images are already online, and I still cannot make out if it's a reddish orange sneaker or an orangish red sneaker. It's like eating Cara orange for the first time. Yeah, it looks like an orange on the outside, but when you slice through it, you're a bit taken aback by how red it is. Look, as cool as the Brick by Brick name is, I would not be mad if these were just Cara Jordan 4s. That way, they're not a collab and won't be overhyped to the moon, meaning I actually don't have to do some work to secure a pair. But regardless, congrats to Nigel. While he has been a Jordan Brand athlete since 2021, it's only been in the past few months that we've seen the promise being fulfilled. He's an overnight success at the brand, and it only took a few years to get there. Not only that, the Air Jordan 4s have slowly become the successor to the Air Jordan 1 when it comes to being the go-to for collabs. Think about your Unions and Cactus Jacks and your Nike SBs, which is a collab in the loosest sense of the word. They all have used the Jordan 4 during their run, and now it's Nigel's turn with his collab, a teased second pair that was briefly shown at the New York show event, and the Air Jordan 4 RM. And speaking of New York, before the media event, Nigel had a surprise pop-up in Soho where fans thought they were going to get a chance to buy and, let's be honest, eventually resell the Air Jordan 4 brick by brick. Well, a brick did show up in the form of a giant, hopefully foam brick on a flatbed with Nigel in tow throwing t-shirts to the crowd. People who came out thinking they were going to get a chance to buy sneakers were disappointed, and I get it. From both sides, though. If there was an explicit announcement that the shoes were gonna be sold, then that's a big mistake on Nigel and Jordan Brand. But all signs were pointing to this just being a promo event, and well, some people got t-shirts and some resellers got their feelings hurt. Yeah, I don't see how this is a problem in the long run. It's not like these same dudes are not going to line up either in person or online when the Brick by Bricks actually release. It's like the same people who get their hopes up with every Nintendo Switch 2 leak and supposed announcement of an announcement that never happens. Like, don't work yourself into a shoot, brother. Calm down. Let the process play out, and in time, you'll get your Jordans or Switches eventually. The need and rush to be first just rots our brain, man, and we need to get over that. Here's a fun thought experiment. Let's switch things up a little bit. LeBron James. He made a super rare, non-uninterrupted podcast appearance on New Heights with Travis and Jason Kelce. LeBron told a story that a lot of us are familiar with. The $10 million check Reebok handed to him when he was still in high school. He could keep the check on the condition that he no longer take any meeting with other suitors like Nike and Adidas, but on the advice of his mom, Gloria, he turned the $10 million down and went on to sign with Nike for $87 over 7 years. As it turned out, Reebok upped the offer to $115 million, while Adidas only got to $60 million. According to various outlets, the reason LeBron ultimately turned down the bigger Reebok offer was the appeal of Nike, and because the shoes Reebok had at the time were not appealing to him. But hold on, what if they were appealing? How different is sneaker history if LeBron goes to Reebok and Nike's only big sneaker signing in 2003 was the late, great Kobe Bryant? Keep in mind that during that time period, Nike wasn't really pushing Kobe because he was going through his legal issues. Would Dwayne Wade have signed with Nike instead of Converse, who was also being acquired by Nike around the same time? Is D Wade still at Nike to this day with the legendary signature shoe line and a lifetime deal instead of bouncing from brand to brand before setting up shop at Li Ning? Carmelo Anthony seemed destined to sign with Jordan Brand from the start, so things probably don't change there. Ditto with Kobe, although instead of a LeBron puppet, we probably get a D Wade puppet, which would have been cool. The biggest what if is obviously LeBron and Reebok, though. How different is Reebok if Allen Iverson is able to hand the baton to LeBron? Assuming the sneakers are on par with LeBron's early years with Nike, do they experience success right away? Would it be enough to prevent Adidas from acquiring them in 2006? And if not, does Adidas force a lateral move to get LeBron in three stripes gear? Do those Brotherhood commercials featuring Tracy McGrady, Gilbert Arenas, Chauncey Billups, Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, Dwight Howard, do they look extra funny with LeBron alongside them? Do LeBron and Maverick Carter and Rich Paul work their way so high up on the corporate ladder to the point where they actually own Reebok in 2025? Not impossible when you consider all the moves they've made through the years. Just think about it. All right. Let's go with our pick of the week. It's the Nike Dornbecker Freestyle 20 collection, and this drops on January 25th. So they're celebrating the 20th iteration of the Dornbecker Freestyle program. This special collection of kicks are designed by patients at Dornbecker's Children's Hospital in Oregon in collaboration with Nike. They are given the reins to project their interests and hopes and dreams onto the sneakers, and the results are some of the most creative and heartwarming pieces of art you will ever see. It's something that I personally look forward to every year, and while the hype for these among those that are in the sneaker world has waned through the years, the kids continue to raise the bar, and I personally absolutely love it. So we have Jillian Beagley with the Air Jordan 6 DB on the 25th for $200. We have Sophia Jenkins with the Nike Sabrina 2 DB on the 25th for $130. The Tima Sverdinko Nike Air Zoom Pegasus 41 DB. This is on the 25th for $130. Connor Cassing Fernandez. This is the Nike Air Max DN. This is going to be on the 25th for $170. Quinn Nims has the Nike Air Max Sunder. That's going to be for $185. And then Jacques Taylor with the Nike Air 180 DB on January 25th for $160. All right, we actually wanted to pick a runner-up this week, and the runner-up for the pick of the week is the Nike Book 1 in the Forrest Gump, or as we like to call it, all right, fine, we'll give you a PE, just shut up already. For as long as the Nike Book 1 has been in existence, so has the vitriol that's been towards Nike and Devin Booker for keeping the player exclusives, well, exclusive. Never mind that there have been a number of really good Book 1 colorways that are available now at retail or less, but hate directed towards Book whenever he would debut a PE that was inspired by an iconic Nike from the past was kind of wild. It felt personal in a weird way. Like, these signature guys get exclusives. Those are the perks. But when Nike hooks up LeBron or KD or even entire college programs with PEs, it's usually just praise for how cool they are or mild critiques of how average they are. When Book wears, say, a shattered backboard 1 inspired Book 1, he's the biggest sneaker villain the game has ever known. Just bizarre behavior that I hope goes away with this Forrest Gump drop that's inspired by the OG Nike Cortez and the pair that Tom Hanks' character wore during his run across America. Of course, as soon as I say this, I check the socials and I see that Book has debuted a Phoenix Suns version of the Cortez, and all everyone has to say is, man, those are dope, but when I go to Foot Locker, all I see are those snakeskin ones. People were clamoring for the snakeskins pre-release. Like, what are we doing here? Let's go to the NFL. The NFL playoffs are underway, and not surprisingly, the players are bringing some of their best custom and player-exclusive cleats for some postseason work. Shout out to Jalen Hurts, as always, for delivering in some fire Jordan 11s that we wish could get a retail release. Aaron Jones came through with Mosh-designed Addy Zeros inspired by Tracy McGrady's signature line, and Rashad Bateman caught a touchdown pass with a KD4-like midfoot strap. But our pick for the favorite this past week has to go to Laramie Tunsil for going the full vintage with some Mosh cleats modeled after my Air Jordan 3 black cements. Why my black cements? Because they looked beat down, worn out, bombed, and depleted. They looked like they had seen some and man, I love it. Reminds me of my retired pair of 3s that I still look at sometimes and I think, I can get one more trip out of those, right? Speaking of bombed out and depleted, Paul Pierce, just kidding, fans. Watch the latest episode of the Too Hard to Pass podcast and find out why I had to shake my head over a potential use of the truth. Anyways, Paul made an interesting discovery when he found the sneakers that he wore during the 1995 McDonald's All-Star Game. It was actually signed by the participants of the game, and they are a who's who of All-Stars and Hall of Famers like Pierce, Stephon Marbury, Vince Carter, Antoine Jameson, Kevin Garnett, and more. Now, normally, I'd be a hater and look for an even better class because Paul played for the team that we never acknowledge on this show. But he's right. That's a hell of a crew. That 1995 class is nice. But for the sake of being a hater anyway, let's compare. 1981 had Michael Jordan, Patrick Ewing, and Chris Mullin, but a huge drop-off after that. 2003 had LeBron and Chris Paul. 96 had Kobe and Jermaine O'Neal. And then 2007 had Harden, Griffin, Love, and Rose. Like, 1981 has the GOAT and 2 more OG Dream Teamers. That's tough to beat, no matter if the rest of the squad are bums. Eventually, 1995 would probably win just because of the depth, but 81 and 2007 would not be easy outs. It's time for this week's Hard Pass. We take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go. Like believing New Balance ain't for you because, brother, New Balance is for everybody. And they got the numbers to prove it. The company revealed some interesting numbers to Yahoo Finance a few days ago. They posted another record-setting year in 2024, with global annual sales reaching $7.8 billion, a 20% increase from the prior year. Not only that, CEO Joe Preston anticipates the company will reach $10 billion in sales over the next few years. Credit for the brand's success is actually being attributed to their ability to reach a younger generation of consumers who are attracted to the brand's new silhouettes like the 9060 and affordable but fashionable models like the 530. Co-writer, the real one, has started to notice plenty of people rocking the 530, particularly among those who probably would not identify as sneakerheads. While Nike still maintains a dominant lead over all of its competitors, their recent struggles have given New Balance and other brands a chance to gain some traction among consumers who a decade ago would have been exclusively rocking the swoosh or the Jumpman. The Yahoo piece also cites New Balance's athlete endorsements as critical to the brand's growth. While they don't have the roster size to compete with Nike or Adidas, they have the ones that matter at the moment, specifically Shohei Ohtani in baseball, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone in track, and Coco Gauff in tennis. It's a good time to be on that New Balance bandwagon. So, if you're a sneakerhead of a certain age who didn't have a hipster face and just always considered New Balance as a sneaker that your dad or your uncle wore because they were olds, it's time to reconsider things. One, because if you're a sneakerhead of a certain age who had those thoughts about New Balance, guess what? Now you're the old head and it's time to treat yourself to some 992s because, man, they feel nice. And two, if you get yourself a gray pair, they work with just about everything in your closet. I never got really caught up in the hype of the 550s, but their run with Kawhi Leonard and their other hooping shoes, it's been dope. And with 2025 and the foreseeable future looking bright, might as well jump on that bandwagon now. Well, don't actually jump on the bandwagon because corporations aren't your friends and just as fast as they rise, they can fall just as quick. I'm just saying, if you're looking for a chunky sneaker and those Kanye BL01s are sold out because they were $20, give those 530s a shot. At least you know they'll last longer than those slippers. All right, that's going to do it for the show. Thank you guys for watching Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. Look, I'll see you next week. And if you'd like to possibly be featured in a future episode, call us at 818-493-9325. Leave a short message or socials if you want, no more than 30 seconds. All right, I'll see you guys next week. Peace.